Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. We traveled a few miles to get here, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I thank you for the privilege of joining you today. Just make sure I've got my little clicker here. So, good morning, and I can't tell you how excited our entire team is to be able to join you for the BA convention. And I know I speak on behalf of our senior leadership team, our board, and to join you here and have a very energizing BA convention. Our focus is to support and grow the BA discipline, and I think this is very important because India is such a vibrant and emerging market. And over the last year, IIBA has had and embarked on a transformative journey to provide further value and support for the BA community and the opportunities to help grow and reach and impact the business analysis community. Today, I'm going to share the global vision of IIBA, and perhaps that might be possible for me to just share just a little slice of what you can expect, what's to come, and to take you on that journey. And it's going to be an ongoing dialogue that will really help to shape and inform the vision every day. And it's from you, the BA community, that will help us do that. There are some very tangible changes and opportunities that we have and will continue to see grow and help form that new vision as we move forward. Just before I start, I would also like to extend a special thank you to a gentleman you might know, who is the Regional Director of IIBA India and President, Mr. Ashish Mehta. Ashish had a vision also over a year ago, and he encouraged our entire IIBA team to consider coming to India to experience firsthand the excitement, the energy, the rapid growth of BAs within India. And it was a commitment over a year ago that we made to IIBA India that we would come, and we are very excited to be here today. So a big thank you to Ashish and a round of applause, please. So let's begin and tell you just a little bit about IIBA. IIBA is a nonprofit professional association who serves the business analyst community. We are and will continue to be the recognized global leader. We are a leader because we have an important focus, that is strictly business analysis and the discipline thereof. This enables us to maintain and identify the necessary and evolving standards and the importance of certification, which I will speak about in a few minutes. There is one key driver, though, and I think it's something we can all share in. We came to India, but we share something already in common, and that is that we are here to unite a community of professionals to create better business outcomes. There's no business that doesn't desire that goal, that aspirational goal, and you, as BAs, will help to be able to bring that impact and that return on investment and lead the way in this space. So let me continue to take you on a little bit of a journey about IIBA. And I am very proud of the ever-increasing IIBA global reach. And this is part of why we're here today. It really is about going to the community, the BA community, and making sure that we listen and understand the importance of and bringing your voice to the table, your voice to senior leaders who need to understand that if they want to be successful, it has to be woven into the absolute essential fabric of the organization as a successful business model. We have over 29,000 members, 115 chapters and growing in India, 240 corporate members, more than 700 CCBA recipients, over 5,000 CBAP recipients. IIBA is the leading association in the BA community. Our exponential growth from 28 members in a small city called Toronto to 29,000 in 12 short years is an important indicator that our members, industry, and the corporate world and government see the value and need for IIBA, our tools, our resources, and our certification. And it's you who are helping to shape, frame, and inform us of that. One thing that we talk about with our senior staff and our board all the time is the importance of listening and being able to interpret, bring it back, and be able to validate it with the community. And we have to do that on an ongoing basis to ensure that we get it right. Here's just a quick snapshot of some of our corporate members of IIBA. And we have an ever-increasing demand for corporate membership. A significant part of our relationship is to ensure connectivity with our corporate and business community, as it allows us to listen and serve the needs within our certification programs, publications, and the chapter community. The corporate community becomes an integral component and player as thought leaders in an inner circle that networks, shares, and collaborates together to inform BA practices and drive better business outcomes. Essentially, IIBA becomes the broker of information and is able to act as the central hub of the evolving changes of the BA discipline and validate that with the corporate and business community and governments, as well as our chapters. With this focus, we are continually raising the bar and ensuring that we are reflecting the needs of industry. The opportunities to enhance our engagement with the corporate community is significant, and I will share with you a little later in the presentation of how we're doing this. So let's just talk a little bit about what IIBA has been up to and how you're helping us to inform what we need to get done. Over the last year, IIBA has undergone an important and essential transformation. We've delivered on a number of key priorities. We launched a new strategic plan and an operating plan. We restructured global staff to increase the focus on members and chapters. We added senior leadership in that space with Kathleen Hutton, our EVP of chapters and membership. We did a global launch of BABOK Guide version 3 with over 7 million impressions. We had over 2/3 or 20,000 downloading the PDF for the guide. We engaged new associations to examine potential partnerships and joint activities. We are building the foundation for new corporate engagement opportunities and added a senior designated person, Alain Arsenal, who has been very, very busy. In fact, he's run off his feet, which is I'm happy about, by the way. And we are undertaking a global tour to further engage the community, and that's why we are here and very happy to be here and to join you. We consider the future to be very bright. And when I say we consider it, you should be very proud that you're in a profession that has an enormous potential. I was asked a question earlier with the gentleman seated in the front seats about the potential of BAs, and they said, what sort of number of BAs are in the world? And I thought, well, that's a really good question. And I think we had different numbers toted around, 2, 3 million. But that's probably just scratching the surface. It's not counting all the other names that BAs are given, all the hybrids of BAs and project managers, and so on. Suffice it to say that the important opportunity here is to recognize the demand, and there is a projection that there will be a shortage. What better place for you to be in than to be a BA and moving forward in this evolving profession? And given the activity engagement of our members and stakeholders, it's very exciting to be part of IIBA and the BA community. Working hand in glove, we are building a body of knowledge that directly reflects the needs of our constituents. And we are applying the necessary principles and standards of the core of the BA profession. Today, let's examine that exciting path as we move forward and the opportunities that we can meaningfully achieve by working together. I think it's always very important that you have to be able to envision how you're going to deliver on your purpose. We can all think of opportunities, goals, aspirational goals, and that is wonderful. We all have lots of ideas, but we have to measure them. We have to make sure that we are on time, on scope, on budget. And it's no different at IIBA. So let's dig a little deeper to ensure we are collectively delivering on our purpose and our promise in serving that BA community. Without a doubt, BAs make an impact. and provide positive contributions. But how do we measure and quantify the work of a BA? So I have a question. This is my chance to speak to you directly. How many BAs are in the audience? Put your hand up, please. It's part of an exercise program as well. Thank you. Next to you, and you don't have to do this, what would you tell the person that you do? Or what should they do? Or how do you know the level of execution that they are at and the years of experience that they bring to the table? And is it at a globally accepted standard? How can the HR professional post, screen, and hire for a BA position if there's not a universal standard or baseline? What do you need to drive better business outcomes? How can you be seen and have a voice as being known as being essential to the successful fabric of any organization? How many times have you been asked these questions? IIBA is committed to helping answer those questions, and it becomes very, very important. I have 3 children. My children constantly ask me, Dad, what do? You go to a lot of meetings and you're on the phone a lot. But the interesting thing, if they ask, what is a BA, and you ask, what is a dentist? Could you answer it very succinctly in a sentence or two? And IIBA, as I said, is committed to answering those questions. IIBA is very much a part of a solution in expanding the BA discipline and helping to align the universal standards of practice, which we've identified in IIBA's new strategic plan. As we examine the trends in the IT industry, we see great opportunity. Business analysis is essential to filling the needs of the IT marketplace in India. In order to drive their growth potential, organizations will be looking to business analysis professionals to utilize their skills and to meet new demands, innovations, and requirements. The demand for your business analysis skills will grow multifold. As demands for business analysis grow, there are significant opportunities across the region. In India, year over year, our membership numbers continue to grow, and we are projecting exceptional growth as we move forward. We know that we have only really begun to understand the true potential to grow and reach here in India. And that's why when Ashish did invite us to come out, and if the truth be known, he invited us last year. I joined in March. He said, could you come in May? And I said, of this year? And he said, yes, why not? And I said, well, we'll take a little bit of planning time, but it was essential that we actually did come because we know that this is a very significant and key area of growth and engagement for us here in India, in the BA discipline, and as well as in the corporate membership program. And when we look at the increasing numbers of individual and corporate members, it is a statement that is very, very telling. The real question is, what is fueling the interest? Business and governments are recognizing that successfully run organizations must have a level of proficiency to optimize their return on investment. And to do so, the standards and efficiencies of BAs must be an integral component to the impact and business model to achieve that return. This is really important for you as BAs to know that you make an essential difference, and more research is going to be necessary for us to be able to demonstrate and articulate that impact, to be able to look at any organization and say, this is the proof point of how you make a difference. So I want you to know IIBA is listening. We're listening to the voices of the community. We're listening to understand their needs and help support the advancement of the discipline. The transformation of IIBA India that is underway will help to support that required and increased connectivity across the country and across the world. In July, a new IIBA India chapter was launched to address the growing demand for support, resources, and recognition by business analysis professionals and the corporations in India. There are now 2 chapters in India, the IIBA Chennai and IIBA Hyderabad, We expect to be able to announce more chapters in India in the coming months, and many are still in that pending mode, and that's why you see them displayed, and that's very exciting for that growth and potential. These chapters will provide the support, engagement, and connections to drive the profession forward in India. In 2015, we embarked on a new global tour that is taking us to 50 locations around the world. What's exciting about that is that all of these locations were by request. Voices were heard from around the world, and it truly is a great opportunity and privilege to be able to hear those voices, people like yourselves who are joining this convention for 2 days, to be able to say, we listen and we want to help and support what you need to do. The other night we were talking about it's very, very important. We never lose sight of bringing IIBA to the community, and that is important, and to be able to reflect the voices back and provide that necessary support. So I'm very proud to say that our biggest tour stop is in India, and we will be here for 10 days, which is very, very important, with 3 of our staff, our board chair, and one of our directors. Throughout the global tour, we are engaging our key stakeholders to determine how we can support the local community while growing our global reach. It's the age-old challenge of thinking globally and acting locally, and I think that's important. And we can all make sure that we're listening, and that will be successful together. Throughout our meetings and visits, more and more opportunities are emerging each and every day. To further support the success of the IIBA India chapters, we know that there's great work to be further developed, including implementation of a flexible and sustainable chapter model, building networks and volunteering and mentoring opportunities, corporate connectivity. We have a number of meetings that are planned throughout the week as we visit India, to support and grow India's evolving business analysis discipline. And over those next 2 days of the convention, I know that you will share your views and comments. And please, I've connected with a number of you even coming to the conference, and it's an absolute pleasure. And I could see the enthusiasm, the energy, the interest, and the passion. And I see this with our staff as we visit our different chapters around the world. And I'm always inspired and energized by it. And we look forward to sharing your views and comments and how we can reshape that future together, increase our connectivity, and provide you with greater value. So let's just talk about the foundations for reshaping that future. Because I told you that we were listening, but I want you to really be able to go away and say, well, you know, how do we know that they're listening? And I think we have some proof points, and that's just the beginning. 2014 was a significant year of transition as IIBA worked to reshape the association's future and its ability to scale globally. We listened closely to the needs of members, chapters, the BA community, and corporate. And in November of 2014, IIBA was pleased to announce the launch of a new strategic plan. This new strategic plan is key to the future success of IIBA and the BA community, and provides that necessary framework to guide the organization's direction and the necessary action over the next 3 years. That new strategic plan was forged and focuses on building even greater value to BA professionals, whether you're an IIBA member or not, and the business community. So I mentioned, how do you know that we're listening? Well, IIBA engaged over 15,000 different stakeholders. To some of you, it's called an environmental scan. And that was from the BA community. Chapters and members, industry leaders, and subject matter experts helped to create the strategic plan, reflecting the core values of the BA community, which are represented by our 5 key pillars. I have to tell you, I was overwhelmed in a very favorable way with the incredible response. It's not every day that an organization gets 15,000 responses when we ask the question, what do you think the future of BAs should be? What do you think the pillars should be? Those are the ultimate goals in the key areas of a strategic plan. And you spoke loudly, clearly, and it helped support us in being able to make sure that in the beginnings of the strategic plan, we understand some of the fundamentals that are necessary to ensure that we are providing that value to you. Just briefly, to touch on some of these pillars that might be difficult for you to see, and that wasn't the intention. You identified that it was important to have a global gold standard, and that's inclusive of our body of knowledge, BABOK, and the extensions to follow. Simplified and integrated certification levels and standard exams. I spoke earlier about how do you know what that person does next to you? How do you capture the expertise they've brought to the discipline, the extra certificates, and all of that experience? A collaborative chapter model to ensure strategic engagement of the chapter and BA community. And how do we standardize but also customize based on the needs and the demands of the local chapter, the region, the country, the culture. Value-added relationships with senior levels in organizations to ensure the relevant connectivity and that decision makers, he or she in the enterprise business analysis world, are listening and they understand the core competency framework and implementation of consulting from certified partners and system integrators and senior advisory groups. All of these individuals, all of these different sectors have to be informed, and we need to be listening carefully to make sure that we can add that value. Leveraging, our fourth pillar is leveraging a network of complementary associations, working with related professionals, management, and partnering models that will ensure the support of a BA new network globally. And we have some exciting announcements to make later this month and throughout the year to actually demonstrate that complementary associations and the networking that will help support the BA discipline once again. Fifth pillar was to encompass the full scope of business analysis, to not only rebrand IIBAs and BAs, but BAs everywhere, and to develop an IIBA IP to support the expanded view, inclusive of impact studies, organizational business models that reflect on the career paths and sectors for different BAs globally. Such a vast discipline, we need to find out what we have in common, what are the methodologies, what are the standards of practice, and how can you stand proud to know that your colleagues across the world share in that discipline and that standards of practice. The strategy supports IIBA's natural evolution and is a renewed focus in delivering more support and value to the organization's members, chapters, partners, and key business stakeholders. The chair of the global IIBA board, Michael Agello, will share even more insights on the key areas of the strategic plan during his presentation tomorrow, and he has more visuals than mine. The essential guide to business analysis. This is very important and core to understanding what are some of those standards of practice. As the globally recognized standard, BABOK Guide version 3 is an essential part of business analysis and is part of that toolkit and is critical to the success of all aspects of organizations by supporting the role of business analysis throughout the strategic, tactical, and operational levels. BABOK version 3 is truly global engagement of the BA community. If you don't have a copy, I suggest you get one. I think it'll really help provide standards of practice. With over 150 contributors and over 5,500 business analysis professionals reviewed the content of BABOK version 3. And it incorporates the collective wisdom and experience of experts in the field from around the world. And again, that's why I feel very proud to stand before you, because you have spoken, you've told us what it is that you need, how you collectively need to have that standards, what you have in common, identifying specific methodologies and practices that will help you and your colleagues to have those truly transferable skills across the globe. It provides the universal standards of practice for business analysis and is an essential resource, as I've mentioned, for BA practitioners. And it defines the skills and knowledge required. But it's only the beginning. And I think that's very important for us to also recognize that we have to continue to evolve and look at what are some of the bolt-ons to BABOK and how will this help you in your area of specialty. But it is the most comprehensive guide for the global BA community. And it is the central resource to help those practitioners and their stakeholders deliver better value and create better business outcomes. Let me just touch a little bit on the expanded scope of BABOK, which reflects the evolution of the business analysis profession. It outlines the skills and the knowledge business analysis professionals need to create better business outcomes and drive business to greater success. The new guide provides essential direction on areas such as agile, business intelligence, information technology, business architecture, and business process management. I'm not sure, how many people have a copy of the BABOK? Anyone in this room? Oh, fantastic. So BABOK, for those of you who haven't seen a copy, we have a copy, and I'll talk a little bit about that later downstairs at the booth. It's only 500 short pages, so if you're looking for some reading material, by all means you'll want to get a copy. It not only encompasses the full scope of the business analysis discipline, it also provides core concepts and unified terminology, perspectives that connect BABOK to BA practices. It has revised knowledge area structure. And as I mentioned, because it's over 500 pages, you'll get a good workout, physical workout, if you just want to lift it up. So let's talk about setting the standards. I think what is important here is that with the, as I mentioned earlier, that our current standards of certification will have a multi-level approach, but you can see that our current requirements of certification process include meeting eligibility requirements for work experience of hours, professional development hours, references, and codes of conduct. And you submit it online, and it's to be approved and pass the exam and recertify every 3 years. The path forward. There's no doubt that IIBA certifications are the globally recognized standard. Over the next 3 years, IIBA will transform our certification program with the development of a new gold certification standard to maintain a gold standard for certification and to expand the BA discipline. We will introduce this multi-leveled certification program. And that helps address some of those questions that I posed to you earlier. You know, what do you do and what does the person beside you do? And how, you know, what do you share in common? The new certification program will support the delivery of lifelong learning and the development by establishing curriculum and testing that would allow for different levels of certification. In addition, IIBA will improve how professionals apply for certification by simplifying the process. The certification will be supported by IIBA endorsed curriculum and delivered via our accredited education partners who will assist in delivering and developing the curriculum and the delivery of the instruction. This will greatly help to identify the key milestones, skill acquisition, and the standards along with the BA career path. In addition, I think this is very, very important as we talk about that pillar which related to expanding the BA scope and discipline. Competencies will be required at each level. Competencies that will reflect what a BA needs and will be validated by industry sectors working with corporate. The multi-level certification and competencies will greatly assist in screening and the alignment and placement of BAs globally. So let's talk about being global and that engagement. Another important area as we move forward is creating opportunities for that global engagement in the broader business community. From corporations to government, to academia, and to allied associations, IIBA is harnessing the engagement opportunities to provide a platform to showcase the recognition and the value of business analysis and the role it plays in helping organizations achieve greater business outcomes. As I shared earlier this morning, the new strategic plan includes focusing on developing value-add relationships with the corporate community. You probably have had many situations that you wonder, does the President CEO, does that senior decision maker really know what you do and how important it is and the impact you are bringing and how it is a foundation piece to the organization's business success model? And I think this is really important because that strategic plan has that focus on the value-add relationship with corporate community. As the leading profession of business analysis, IIBA will be the go-to organization for organizations looking to build successful impact BA practices to grow their businesses. Address issues, build solutions, and become more innovative. The goals of the program include establish the foundation for a sustainable framework for new and enhanced corporate and business development capability. We are looking to raise the brand and profile and value that IIBA brings to the BA and the BA community, corporate and businesses at large, through the development and the implementation of value-add programs. We are looking forward to aligning and integrating new and enhanced corporate academic programs with our chapters, as well as incorporate IIBA in conferences, events, and chapters and PDDs. To develop the partnership and alliances and strategic opportunities that will deploy models with other complementary associations and organizations. There's so much that I would love to tell you about, and we will be at the booth later on. But at IIBA, we understand the importance of empowering great fluency in critical thinking and decision-making to the global community. This is reflected in the priorities within our plan, our actions which will help business leaders from corporate, government, and nonprofit sectors understand the value and the importance of business analysis. In order to expand the reach of BA professionals and the association, IIBA is connecting beyond our own community. We are reaching out and building relationships with our organizations, with other organizations, to support an integrated view of the role and impact of business analysis. By building relationships with corporations and offering products, services, and connections, IIBA will help organizations deliver that strong BA presence, practice, and ultimately resulting in organizational success. In expanding our support and value into corporations, we will provide research, best practices, and other valuable products that will improve business better and improve better business outcomes. And we look forward to sharing some of those this year with you. In addition, to further support the corporate community, IIBA understands that there is significant opportunity to engage governments around the world. About 2 months ago, I had the pleasure with some of our team to be in Washington. And this was the second meeting we had with the State Department and with the IMF. And I received an email that actually said, after much work, and I attribute it to the work that they had done, not what we had done, but we happened to be able to share in their vision. And they announced from Washington that the State Department had identified the standards of practice, in our case, the CBAP, as being a recognized standards of practice. And that was an important milestone because it was governments also in Italy recognizing the standards of practice for CBAPs. And I think you will see, or I actually should say, I know you will see this happening around the world. And that helps to validate the importance of the profession and the standards, and whether it's a CBAP or whatever your designation is, it allows you to know confidently that you are part of that very bright and exciting future. We're also excited about the great opportunities to engage the academic community, and I saw some sponsors today, I believe there were 5, to help understand how we can support further research and curriculum and further engagement. And I have a soft spot and passion for education. If you get a chance, you can find out in some of my background. So this is very important because I think it's at the core of understanding the opportunities for people who want to get into this exciting profession. And as we look to develop partnerships and other professional associations, management associations, and research organizations will work together to ensure that that integration of industry, knowledge-based thought leadership across the different specialties and the expanded portfolio of products and services will be validated. IIBA is committed to forging value-added relationships with corporations and associations and business stakeholders to create greater connections and engagements across the business analysis community. We are proud of the global hub that we are creating, which enables practitioners, thought leaders, and professionals to collaborate, share the ideas, and solve problems in what I call real time. I think the real time is something that is very, very important, germane to everything that you do as a BA. You actually have insight beyond many others in the company. It allows you to actively apply what you've learned in real time and apply it in that solution-based outcome strategy that you're helping to support within your own organization. Never forget that real time is a very valuable commodity that you bring to the table and a very, very important voice that I think you can share. We will continue to build on the connectivity to unite that community of professionals to create those better business outcomes. So there is a lot of work ahead of us, and we are looking at examining the future opportunities. And there is, with that work to be done, we know that the only way we're going to be able to accomplish it is by working with the BA community. The BA space is a dynamic and fluid and evolving space. What an exciting place to be. When I see the word innovation, it truly is. You are true entrepreneurs because you're blazing new trails that allow organizations to stand up and take notice and listen. And all of a sudden, that new idea, which has been sort of part of your incubation, is brought to the table, and someone wonders, well, where did that come from? And it came from that real-time information that you developed, you've been processing in your head, and you've been able to bring it to your organization as part of the successful solution that you're bringing forward. So we've been able to, with your help and support, define a business model to ensure that we're able to capture, interact, and engage the standards of the BA discipline through an ongoing building and communication of that real-time communication with our practitioners, you, corporate, business, and government agencies around the world. When you leave here, you'll be just seeing all these orange dots all over. We've never been more clear and confident about our position in the marketplace. And our actions are driven by our core purpose and the unique value we provide to members and the larger business community. And this becomes only the beginning. And we've just started to not only move this forward, but to increase the impact and to validate that with you. The remainder of 2015 and into 2016 will bring even greater value and support. As I mentioned, a new enhanced certification program focused on competency will be announced later this year. IIBA will announce partnerships and MOUs with leading research organizations to deliver case studies, research, and learning opportunities to support the BA community. We will launch the Enterprise Business Analysis Core Competency, or EBAC, assessment framework. There will be new tools, resources, and education opportunities will be provided to IIBA members. There will be strategic partnerships that will be announced with complementary professional associations and corporations that have already been signed. So I can stand before you saying they have been signed and we will be moving forward. And IIBA will launch the new support engagement with IIBA in India. As we work with Ashish and his team, we'll look forward to sharing more news in the coming months and how that will emerge and help to forge the framework and template for other chapters around the world of IIBA, recognizing there's not a one-size-that-fits-all. It truly is about partnering for success. I can't stand before you today at the BA convention and without acknowledging that you are the BA advocacy force. You're the ones around the world who are sitting in conventions like this, who are helping to inform, support, and ensure that the information, the standards of practice are truly at that level and allow you to evolve as a professional. And I would like to thank you for your ongoing support. Whenever we've asked, you've been there. You've answered our questions in spades, and I think that's absolutely essential. The opportunities in the future are also only possible through our strong partnerships with our members, corporations, academic partnership and government. Will create a positive impact on the global business community by creating that greater awareness of the discipline and the value of the BA role. We're supporting and enhancing our standards and best practices. And I encourage you, when you're in those different sessions throughout the next 2 days, I always say to my staff, it's what we have in common, not what's different, that becomes important, because that's what helps to truly unite us. And I think that is what I would challenge you over the next few days. Seek out someone that isn't in your BA sort of particular sector, but find out what you have in common. And I think it will help as we evolve the entire profession. Our goal is to build on that positive impact of BAs and provide the community with increased connections and that support that I mentioned. So I once again would like to thank Ashish and his team. I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank all of our industry support and sponsors that are here today. Without our corporate community and government, as well as our academic members and chapters, obviously this couldn't be possible. And I also invite you to visit our IIBA booth and to share information that you would like us to know about. We also have something called the IIBA Traveling Babok, and it's a big book, that 500 pages or so, with signatures from around the world on particular topics, and you're welcome to sign it anywhere you like, and we are taking it with us to those 50 stops around the world, and it will be an artifact at the BBC convention, which is hosted in Las Vegas this late October, November. With that, I thank you very much for all your support and the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.
So, Stephen, you want to take some questions?
I'd be delighted to take some questions.
Guys, anybody, please.